Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Canadian Retro. I have an epic pickup for you here. Just some really amazing stuff. I went out today after work and just hit up the thrift shops, my usual pattern, and I found a whole bunch of stuff. Pretty amazing actually, because yesterday there was absolutely nothing in the stores, and today I basically struck gold. You'll see what I mean by the time you see the end of this video. To begin with though, I'll show you a couple items that I picked up off of eBay in my ever-continuing quest to be able to hook up any which system, any which way possible. I picked up a number of different cables. The first ones are just PlayStation, like PlayStation 1 or 2, probably 3 too, but of course, if you're gonna do that, you might as well use HDMI. And the composite, or not, component cables that go with it. So I got 2 of those off of eBay. I'll show you the price that I paid for them. Nothing super cool or anything like that, but I figured those might give me some pretty good signal quality. The next thing that I also picked up off of eBay is another cable, which is similar because it has that same end on it, but this one here actually hooks up to a PSP. So pretty excited about that. I'll be able to hook that up, and I'm going to get one that converts this signal to HDMI so I can run it into my stereo nicely without a lot of wires sticking out of the back, and hopefully it'll look pretty good on the television. We'll have to see. I've never actually seen a PSP running on a TV before, so hopefully this works out well for me though. But now it's time to get into the thrift shop stuff, and this is the stuff that I'm super excited about. I walked into a Goodwill, was my first stop, and I immediately saw something which I'll show you in a minute, but it's kind of the best thing of the lot, so I'll show you what I picked up before that. The first one that I got was Mario Power Tennis, and this one here is complete, and I've already redeemed the Club Nintendo points, so don't get any ideas. And it was $5. The cool thing about that though was there was Club Nintendo points in this, so that's pretty cool right there. $5, and I got some Club Nintendo points and a pretty awesome game. It's it's the same as the GameCube game, but you can use the Wii controls and stuff like that, so that's really neat right there. Another game that I picked up, and I was sort of taking a look at it, and then I was kind of debating whether or not I wanted to pick it up, and I'm glad that I did, because I kind of looked the price up later, and it's a really good deal, and it's Back to the Future, the game, for PlayStation 3. The reason why I was debating is this one was labeled for, or priced at $6, so I was kind of hesitant to do it, but I found out later it's worth way more than that, so pretty awesome deal right there. The disc is pretty reasonable. There's a couple of minute scratches on there, but not too bad at all. So the next things that I found, these are actually the first things that I saw in the case, were a couple of Game Boy games. For the original Game Boy, and it comes in one of these hard cases, is Gargoyles. And for that one there, I paid $5. In the case, so that's pretty cool right there. It looks pretty mint actually, really good condition. So ideally that'll be, a great game to add into the collection. And another game which is not as in good condition unfortunately, but a really good game, and one I didn't have already, and I know it's quite desirable, although I'm not knowledgeable about this series at all. I know it has value, so I decided to pick it up, and it's Pokemon Blue. And you can see there's a little bit of label wear and stuff like that. This cartridge was used quite well, so you can really tell on the back of it too. For that one there, I paid $3. Really wicked. I don't know why there's a price discrepancy between that one and this one, but on the back you can see there's a lot of wear and stuff like that. But again, for $3, Pokemon Blue, pretty good. Haven't tested the save battery on this, but we'll have to see how that goes. I thought for the day that Pokemon Blue was going to be probably the best thing that I got out of the whole day, but it continues to get interesting. Not as good as that until like the end actually. But the first game, as I walked into a Talese that I picked up, I actually picked this one up. The lady was rolling out a cart, and this was the only item on the cart for some reason. It was in the bottom of like one of the bins that they roll out, and I just picked it up as she was going by, and it's Brutal Legend. And for this one here, I paid $4, which is pretty wicked, I guess. Probably priced at what it's at. Unfortunately, it's missing the manual, but the game disc is almost perfect, so you know, it would have been nice to get the manual with it. But I've heard things about this before. I don't know everything about it, but it looked like an interesting title, so I thought I would pick it up. On the shelf there, they also had a copy of Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition, and this one here is totally complete. And for this one I paid, let's see here, trying to remember, $4.99. So for $4.99, pretty decent title right there. Another Rockstar title. And the disc, I think, has been resurfaced. It used to be a GameStop or EB Games disc. You can tell by the label on it. It says Electronics Boutique on it. So old style Electronics Boutique. But, you know, so it's been resurfaced, but, you know, pretty good title right there to pick up, especially for that price. When I was finished in there, I actually headed over to a Value Village, and it got kind of weak actually in there. This Value Village never has anything usually. They had a stack of DS games sitting there, and they had a DS, but it was really beat up. It was a DS Lite. The hinge was broken on it, and it only powered on for a second, so there was no cables or anything to actually plug it in to check it out. I probably wouldn't have bought it anyways. They wanted $24 for it, and it didn't power on, and the hinge was broken. Not really worth it. But they had a couple of games that were sitting there, and most of them were like little kiddie games, like girly kind of pony games, stuff like that for the DS. But there were two titles that weren't necessarily like that, and it was with a Scooby-Doo title and the SpongeBob kind of title. Now, I know that this one here has value. I'm not really sure about this one here, but unfortunately, when I opened them up and showed them to the clerk, I said, hey, there's no game in here, and vice versa with this one, same deal, there's no game in here. But I said, look, I'll be interested in buying the empty cases, because I can store my games in there. Because it has the GBA slot, and I do have some loose Nintendo DS games, so I always like to pick up these empty cases if I can. I'd rather they not throw them in the garbage. Sometimes at that place they say no or yes or whatever, but clearly somebody has taken the games out of them, pull a little sleight of hand, because these were in a glass case, and they pretty much stand there while you're looking at it, so they must have been busy or something like that, and a thief kind of came in and stole the games out of it. For each of these empty cases, though, I paid
it was 99
cents, so it wasn't a big deal. I wish I could have paid a little bit less for it, but for a couple bucks and my time going in there, I figured I might as well walk out with something. The next thing is something that isn't video game related, but it was too good of a deal to pass up. I bought this bucket of Lego. I have a young son who eventually will be getting into Lego, and I have some Lego from the 80s kind of thing and 90s that I had when I was a kid, and of course he's probably going to be playing with Lego, so I decided to pick this up for him for a later date, just because it was such a good deal. There's a little bit of wear and stuff on the labels, but who cares? It's a bucket and it's for kids. For it, I paid $6. It's supposed to have 400 and some odd pieces in it, 487, you can see it right there. But this lid is supposed to be sort of like a garbage can lid where it swivels in, so I think it's normally only filled up probably to about there, or maybe even less. This one here is filled right to the top, so someone has taken Mega Bloks as well and put them in here. They're sort of mixed in with Lego, but luckily Mega Bloks and Lego, they're interchangeable. Like this style of Mega Bloks are interchangeable with the ones that I have. So some of the pieces, like for instance this one, is pretty chewed up and damaged, so I'll have to go through it and kind of pick out ones that are, you know, in good condition and stuff like that. But for $6, a gigantic bin of Lego is a really good deal. You know, I don't know what this thing actually normally goes for. If you know you're a Lego aficionado kind of thing, let me know. But I think a bucket of, you know, 450 or even more, now that, you know, there's a bunch of Mega Bloks stuff in there, or other Legos, I'm not really sure. But that kind of thing, I'm sure it's got to be worth more than the $6 that I paid for it. So that's pretty wicked. My story kind of got out of sync a little bit because I picked that up the first time I was in the store. After I picked up those empty DS cases, I went back into Tlees, and like I've said in previous videos, always do the double check, always do the double take. And I usually do this, it's just part of my pattern when I go into this section of it, because the two stores are basically beside each other. So I usually go to the Tlees first, just because I sometimes find things there. The Value Village I don't really find very much at usually, so I'll go check out the Value Village, but I'm parked near the Tlees, so I just pop my head in the door, kind of go over to the section again, and I check. And I'm so glad that I did, because you guys are gonna lose it when you see what I picked up today. And when I tell you the price, you're probably gonna have a heart attack. So I'll show you that right now. This is what I found in the Tlees in the electronics section. It is a boxed Virtual Boy. This thing is pretty awesome. The box is in not so great shape. It's been crushed a little bit. Hopefully I can kind of work with that a little bit and fix it up. But you're not going to believe the inside of this thing. It is absolutely amazing. Just open it up. It is in its original packaging. Basically, I think they might have not even taken it out of the bags. It is bagged inside completely. I think it is not really being touched at all. Minus the fact that I just took that out of the bag. It came with Mario's Tennis in there. I don't know a whole lot about the Virtual Boy, to tell you the honest truth. I've seen a few people who have picked them up in the past, but this is a fairly epic find right here. I mean, this thing is literally brand new, minus the fact that the box has been crushed a little bit. For this Virtual Boy, I paid $9.99. Unbelievable deal. I have not picked up anything that is quite that good of a price. I know this thing goes for probably about $150. So $10 was pretty awesome. When I took it up to the counter, you know, it was like $10 with tax. So where I'm at, tax is 13%. So, you know, it came out to like $11.12 or something like that. And then while I was paying for it, she goes, "Oh, you've reached like a certain point of buying things where you can get $1 off." So I actually saved $1. I ended up paying $10.12 or something like that for this. Pretty awesome right there. I couldn't imagine getting anything better that day. And that is because of my policy of doing a double take and taking a double look. If you look back through my videos, you'll see some of the best finds that I've found recently have been by doing this. One of the first ones was Banjo-Kazooie. I found that one by going back into the store. Actually having to go to the washroom, I walked back into the store, walked to the section, and it was just put out, and I just grabbed it up. I picked up one of the Pokemon games that I got recently. At the same location, actually. This was at the same location too. But that was after going through the store twice, kind of thing. And I came back and I did my double take, and what do you know? I found a really valuable game. You know, I was there today. This wasn't in the store at the time. I went over to the Value Village, spent about 15 minutes there, came back, and this thing was sitting on the shelf. An amazing, amazing find. when I didn't think that my day could get any better than that, I headed over to the Goodwill, which is closer to my house, and just stopped in there because I had a few minutes before I had to go and get home and things like that. And I stopped in there, and this was sort of not the best find of the day, but it's one of the most important ones, I think, for me. The Virtual Boy is definitely cool. It definitely has value, and it's going to look great on the shelf when I'm done with it. But ultimately, some of the things that I'm looking for when I'm collecting is to relive those memories of the past, of things that I used to have and idiotically sort of gave away or sold or whatever. And this is one of the games that I gave away when I didn't give it away, I sold it a while back, and I'm so happy to get it back. And it's the only thing I found at this Goodwill, but it was well worth the drive there. And I picked up Kid Chameleon, and this is for the Sega Genesis. Interesting thing about this game is that when I was younger, I received this game as a Christmas gift, and I kind of looked at it and I thought it was pretty lame to begin with. And what ended up happening is I had some other games and stuff like that. I was playing them, and I kind of checked this one out. And then later on, actually, when I got a little bit older, I started playing this game and really loved it. Like, really enjoyed playing it. Found it really challenging and fun. So I continued to play it. And when I gave away my collection, this was one of the things that went with it. Or when I sold my collection, this is one of the things that went with it. I am so glad to pick up Kid Chameleon. For this one here, I paid $3. So a wicked deal. It's totally complete. And super pumped, like I said, to add this back into my collection. One more sort of on my list of games that I originally had that I got rid of. Super, super awesome right there. This was my, day, basically. Only took a few hours. I was out thrifting, wasn't expecting to find much, and I walked home with a pretty epic haul, I think. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Feel free to thumbs up this video. Thank you so much for watching, and also remember to comment down below, and I will see you all later.